Oh no, the ball's in the boot. He hates it when the ball's in the boot.
He's a border collie. He'll get it.
Can Frankie get the ball out of the boot?
I might need a little help with this one.
He says, damn these muck boots. Oh. He got it.
He did it.
He got it.
Hey, bugger.
Oh, he's a smarty. He's a smart boy. Put it in my hand. Right there. Right there. Good boy. I built this little lean-to here to park the tractor under, but when I brought my old Ranger here from New York, that doesn't have a roof or a windshield or anything on it. And that's the rig that I use the most. It's like every other day I'm jumping in it to get something on my property. So I park that under here for now, because I don't use the tractor much in the wintertime. But I'm going to build a cab, full cab for this rig, and that'll be a little project video for in the future. But it's a beautiful day today. It's chilly, but it's a good temperature for working. There's no wind at all. It's just a pretty day. So we're going to get some firewood for the greenhouse. We have plenty of firewood for the house. In reality, we probably have 2 winters worth. And the stuff that I'm burning in the greenhouse is the less desirable wood, you know, some birch and some softwood, and really kind of a bunch of crappy stuff. But it throws heat, and I'm using it. But as the weather gets colder and colder, you know, where it's 20 below and stays below 0 for, 2 weeks at a time, I'm going to need some of the better wood. And I will probably borrow from the house stack. But to be honest, I've just been jonesing to get out and cut wood. I love cutting wood. I love the exercise. And we had that 2 foot of snow, and then we had all that rain, and pretty much the snow went away. There's just a little bit, and it's hard, and the conditions are really good. So I've been eating a lot in the holidays, man. So I want to get out and cut some wood today. It's a beautiful day, so Lori and I will be out there getting some firewood for the greenhouse. Yeah. Well, it's a beautiful day for working in the woods. It's chilly, but there's no wind and the hard snowpack makes it easy to get around. There's a lot of fallen timber in the forest, and a lot more that's ready to fall down. So we better grab it before it exceeds its sell-by date. When trees get funky, they're pretty much useless, and we don't like to see God's creation going to waste. Now this old Ranger is a great machine for jobs like this. It was built for work, and it's certainly seen its share of it. It's never failed me in any way. They don't make them like they used to, but I guess you can say that about most anything these days. I think the human race has gone in the wrong direction, but I'll save that discussion for another day. So many of the maples now are getting punky and falling over. It's really disheartening because the forest is going to hell. But I was just out taking some of the standing dead. Whenever I talk about taking standing dead, I get a lot of comments where people go, don't cut the standing dead trees because they make nesting sites for small animals and birds. And I'm fully aware of that. Most of the standing dead I cut is cherry, and the birds don't peck into that because it's too hard. But a guy couldn't go out and cut enough of the standing dead to make a difference because there's so much standing dead. And if you look at the pine trees and the popple, the softwoods like that, they'll be riddled by cavity nesters. So I don't take those down. In fact, as I'm talking to you, I turn around and look at this. See, there's a pine tree right there where the woodpeckers have been hammering into. Trust me, friends, there's more standing dead trees than there are birds. So anyway, I'm harvesting some of it because this stuff won't be good in a few years. So it's a good day for it. We're getting some wood. There's certain species of trees that when I see them standing dead, I want to harvest them as quickly as possible, like birch, the softwoods, popple, and even elm. But there are other species, like cherry, that I will leave until I need them. Like I'll show you. See this cherry tree here, it's been dead a long time. Same with that trio right there. You can see those have been dead a long time. But even though they look all crappy on the outside, the wood inside will stay hard as a rock for decades. I know there's some down there that have been laying on the ground for a long time. The outside is like cork, but the interior of it is hard as a rock. I just cut a small one over here. I'll show you. You can see the tree has been dead for a long, long time. Okay, and you know the bark is falling off of it years and years ago. The inside of it is hard as a rock, and that burns hot. It's my favorite firewood. It smells good when it's burning too. Dug this out of the snow. Hasn't been run in, I don't know, a few months. Let's see how she does. It's never given me any trouble. It's been a good splitter. Choke. I do the cutting and Mama does the splitting. In fact, sometimes she won't even let me near the darn thing. But you won't hear me complaining about that. This is some of that cherry I was telling you about. You see how the outside is really punky? You can tell that tree's been dead for a long time, probably a decade, maybe more. But see how hard it is on the inside? That burns hot. It's beautiful, beautiful wood. So when I'm out in the woods, if I see a maple that has been diseased or in really bad shape, standing dead, I'll take that long before I harvest the cherry, because that maple will go punky within about a year, year and a half after it's dead. It's not much good. And a lot of the trees are like that, but the cherry, it stays beautiful for a long time. Someone recently asked me if I would take the camera up to the well and film the whole process of how we get our water. Since it's time to fill the buckets, I'm happy to oblige. I need a frickin' shower anyway. The well is 104 yards from the camp, up over hill and dale. But you know, I wouldn't change a thing. I love this life and this lifestyle, so that's why I live it. People often seek an adventurous life, and then they modernize adventure right out of it, and they find themselves even more discontented than before. Funny how that is. This stuff is hung here for years and years and years and years. A different kettle because the other one got rusty. Yeah. Nostalgia. I feel nostalgic every time I hang that. know, people ask me all the time why I don't run a pipe from the well to the camp. Somebody asked me just yesterday, why do you carry water? Why on earth do you carry water? Well, the answer is because I want to. I really enjoy this daily ritual. Although I don't do it every day. Usually it's every other day. I fill these 4 pails like I just did. And I carry 2 to the camp. I come back, I get the other 2, and I carry those. And when I get back to the camp, my muscles are tight, and I love it. And I love the way I feel. All right? You live out in the woods like this, you have to stay strong. And especially the older you get, you have to do physical labor and keep your body in condition. Because if you don't use it, you lose it. We all know that. And the stuff that we do, the lifestyle that we have, you have to stay strong. All right? So, you know, people that have cushy jobs, their bodies go to crap. Either that or they have to go to a gym. Well, I'd rather multitask, like getting the firewood and keep our bodies fit. You know? So I do it because I want to. I will never, ever run a pipe from this well to the camp. Never. When we build our next cabin, it doesn't have a well, and we will put in a well and probably plumb it to the cabin. But this old well was dug by the settlers in the 1700s, dug by hand, and I enjoy getting my water in the same manner that they did. I enjoy that. Not many people will understand it, but I do. Having that little bit of history come into my daily life, I enjoy it. So, I carry my water because I want to. And like here it is, a simple task of getting my water, and I'm out on this beautiful day. I've got the woodpecker hammering there, and I got a red squirrel chattering away over there, and it was some moose tracks, and it was just heaven, heaven on earth. Yeah. So I have heaven on earth, and most people will just turn the faucet and never give 2 thoughts about the task. It's just mundane, and they take it for granted, and you don't hear them even talk about the water until they don't have any, or something's wrong with it, or a pump goes bad, or something like that. You know what I mean? So I'm going to carry these back to the camp, and I'm going to take 2 of them upstairs, and I'm going to dump them into my tank, and there'll be gravity feed down to the kitchen sink, and there'll never be a pump to fail, or there's nothing sucking power, or nothing. I don't know. Sometimes less is more. That's what can I say. An old friend of mine that used to own property that abutted mine, quite often I'd be out on my machine working on my land and he was on his, and he would see me get off of my Kubota and do stuff by hand because I like to keep all of my trails looking pristine, you know? And his looked like a bomb went off, but hey, we make our own choices, right? But he would always borderline ridicule me because I did stuff by hand. And his exact words were, I never do anything by hand that I can do with the machine. He's always either pushing buttons or pulling levers. He's dead now. He died at 57. So, like I said, you don't use it, you lose it. Mom is headed to the brush pile for some kindling. We have a lot of dry kindling in store for the house, but a greenhouse fire is kindled more often, so she's getting more while the getting is good. With a little help from the kiddos, of course. Well, Frankie's no stranger to the task and gets right down to business. He's a veteran kindling maker. Little Tildy's catching on, she can dig it. She digs everything, as you can see. Dig a hole, snap a twig, and dig another one. She's the little Spitfire girl. Now pay attention, Tildy. Pick a nice dry twig and cut a stove length like this. So Tildy investigates, and she's off with it. Here she goes again. Now let's fill this sled up. Frankie's got it going on. He knows how to do it. But that little Tildy, well. Hey, you guys, you can't go sledding yet. We got work to do.
We gotta fill this up.
Don't eat it all. We're gonna need some for the fire.
Frankie and the boss out walking in the woods, living life happy and free. Tracks in the snow everywhere they go. There's a pokey way up in that tree. A beaver built a pond where they have some fun, taking life a day at a time. Best friends until the end. Frankie and the boss. Frankie and the boss. Frankie and the boss.